Thanks for joining us and welcome to The Rundown. I'm Jason Madison. The Statesman basketball team is looking to make a run in this year's Midwest Collegiate Conference basketball tournament. And why not? The Statesmen have recently found its winning touch, reeling off 3 solid wins to close out the regular season. Those victories over St. Ambrose, AIB, and Clark took WP from the number 5 seed to the number 3 seed in the tourney. Wednesday night in Oskaloosa, the Statesmen played host to Viterbo for the MCC quarterfinal contest. During the regular season, Penn swept the V-Hawks twice, but would it happen again? We'll find out when we go to the Penn Zone.
Inside the Penn Gym, the Statesmen, V-Hawks, and fans were warming up after cold weather conditions caused the game to get underway 15 minutes early. First half, and Penn is up 12-11. However, newcomer Jake Gunther was a spark plug off the bench. On the near side wing, Gunther found his sweet spot. Whap! 3 of his 9 points in the first half, and WP is gone top. Then another role player, Logan Alexander, gets in on the action, corralling the board and getting fouled on the putback. The crowd is hyped, but Viterbo's David Shepard is a force to be reckoned with. Under the hoop, the V-Hawks seals off Eric McGee, and he's catching air. 2 of his game-high 30 points and more to come. In the meantime, here's Gunther again from his sweet spot, and in a blink of an eye, here's another. Penn up 25-20. Coach Henry likes what he sees, but Shepard is having his way inside, going reverse layup and knotting the game up at 25-all. Now it's time for WP's Shane Bozick to put in work. Off the turnaround, he drops this baseline jumper. Then, here he gets the 5-footer to fall. And besides the shooter's touch, the kid shows off his springs with this dime from Oliver Wells. The junior would lead the Statesmen with 12 points at the half before Penn heads into the locker room up 41-35. Second half now, and center Sam Sykes starts a 10-0 run. Go ahead, big fella, show us some moves. Then Wells does it himself, working to get the contact and the basket. I don't know where that foul is either, but Penn's rolling 52-42. Wells on his way to a double-double, 19 points and 10 assists. Fast forward to the last 5 minutes in the game, and Shepard puts the V-Hawks on his back. Check out this sophomore with his fadeaway jumper over Sykes. The visitors are down 3, but Penn was clutch down the stretch. First is Bozick with a 3-ball. Whack! Talk about no guts, no glory. And then here's a double dose brought to you by Alex Schwab. Off the double pick, Schwab gets space, and he's money from long range. Then, if you need a close-up of the Schwab show, check this out. Splash. And the bench is loving it. Penn up 77-67 and would roll on to the next round, winning 90-80. After a slow start, Schwab, who scored just 3 points in the first half, erupted in the second half to lead WP in scoring with 23. Followed by Bozick's 21 and Wells's 19. The Rundown spoke with head coach John Henry and senior guard Oliver Wells about possibly being on the road the rest of the way.
It would be nice to have a home game, but either way, I like our chances. We're playing our best basketball. I think we've won 7 out of our last 9, and the kids are really starting to get it. It's really fun again. And, that's been a staple of our program. Let's make sure we're playing the best in the end, and I feel like we are. So I know I wouldn't want to play us.
We've been through a lot this year. We had some guys who were on the team in the beginning who aren't here anymore. So it took us some time to gel, but at the right time, right now, we're starting to figure it out, trust each other, and it's just, doing our thing right now.
With a victory, the 3rd seeded Statesmen move on to Friday's semifinals, where they will face number 2 seed AIB in Des Moines at 7 p.m. The Statesmen and Eagles split their regular season contest earlier this year. The Statesmen aren't the only Penn squad looking to extend their season in the MCC tournament. The Lady Statesmen are also in action this week. Penn will travel to Clark on February 26th in the first round of the MCC tournament. The Lady Statesmen finished 5th in the conference with a 4-8 record. The Crusaders finished 4th with an 8-4 conference record. Penn is hoping the 3rd time is a charm. Clark already defeated Penn twice this year. However, there's a little bit of a history on Penn's side. Last season, the Crusaders beat the Lady Statesmen twice during the regular season. Clark finished 2nd in the conference, and Penn finished 7th in the MCC. The 2 sides met for the 3rd time in the first round of the MCC tournament, and the Lady Statesmen walloped the Crusaders by 15 points on the road. Lady Statesmen will hope to repeat that trick and return home with an upset. And sticking with more hoop action in the area, the OHS Indians visited Pella this week looking to extend the season. The 6-14 Indians squared off against the 18-2 Dutch, looking for an improbable upset in the district semifinals. The Rundown's Eduardo Zamarripa has the highlights.
Playoff basketball in Pella, the 18-2 Dutch hosting the 6-14 Indians in the district semifinals, and Oskaloosa came out looking for a huge upset. Remember, Pella had already defeated the Indians twice on the season by a combined 114 points. We'll pick it up mid-first quarter, and Pella shooters are already on point. Seth Johnson hits the tray, Dutch lead 16-2. Then it's sophomore Jack Moore going baseline as he fights through traffic for the bucket, but Pella comes back and Will Warner buries it from long range. Shortly after, it's Moore in transition. Bang! That's a triple, but Oski's down 22-9 after one. Second quarter now, and after another Pella triple, it's Moore in transition again. That's a three ball, and Oski's not going away, down 34-20. But Pella closes out the half on an 18-6 run. Isaac Nadenborgen hits back-to-back threes, and Pella goes into the break up 52-26. Second half action, and senior Max Johnson connects from deep, but Pella responds with a commanding 12-0 run, and the Dutch are in full control. Senior Ryan Ryder and the Indians kept battling to keep it close, but the Pella attack was too much for the Indians. Pella would go on to win 88-52 over Oskaloosa, ending the season for the Indians. Oskaloosa finishes the year at 6-15, a considerable improvement over last year's 1-21 mark. Here's Coach Parker after the game.
We just talked about competing. You know, we know Pella's a good team, and my hat's off to them. Their depth really hurt us tonight, but we talked about going into it just competing. You get beat by the amount we got beat by the last game, you're going to come in a little bit intimidated. But our guys came in and competed and worked their tails off. My hat's off to those 9 seniors. Not one of them gave up, and I didn't give up on any one of them either. Those guys won 1 game last year, 3 the game before, or 3 the year before, so a total of 4 wins in the last 2 years. We got 6 this year. They see that this program's headed in the right direction, and I've told them from day one, they're the building blocks to this, building this thing. They may not see the fruits of this labor this year, but they can be proud of it for years to come.
Oskaloosa's 6 wins this season is the highest win total for the program since going 9-14 in the 2011-2012 season. The OHS girls basketball squad also saw its season come to a close this past week. The Indians traveled to Fairfield in the first round of the high school state playoffs. Oskaloosa fell behind 33-21 at the half and never found its footing, falling 67-32. Sophomore Alexis Westerkamp recorded a double-double with 13 points and 16 rebounds. Senior Taylor Richardson chipped in with 11 points and 4 rebounds. With the loss, the OHS girls finished the season 3-19. The Indians lost 13 of its last 14 games to close out the year. The melee that was the 2015 Iowa High School State Wrestling Tournament is over. Oskaloosa had 5 state qualifiers enter the 3-day tournament at Wells Fargo Arena in Des Moines. So how did the Indians fare against some of the top 3A talent from around the state? Last Thursday and Friday, the seasons for sophomore 120-pounder Drew Sams, senior 170-pounder Cody Jones, sophomore 195-pounder Kyler Salazar, and sophomore 220-pounder Kaylin Tomlin ended. The 4 qualifiers lost first-round matches and found themselves in the consolation bracket. There, they were unable to bounce back for a spot on the 8-level award podium. However, Oskaloosa did have one grappler wrestle his way to the championship. Senior 126-pounder Skylar DeYoung was 1 win away from a state title, but he came up short during the final contest Saturday night. DeYoung was ranked 2nd in the state. The senior faced unbeaten and top-ranked Nolan Hellingson from Southeast Polk. The 2 seniors battled through 3 periods, with Hellingson handing DeYoung his 2nd loss of the season by the way of an 8-2 decision. DeYoung said it isn't the way he wanted to end his wrestling career at OHS, but he's thankful.
It's a blessing. I mean, I never thought I'd make much of a big impact in wrestling, but after this year, I'm like, wow, I did. And it feels awesome to leave your mark.
Wrestling finalist since 2006 when Derek Moyer won his third state crown for the Indians. DeYoung ends his season with a 47-2 record and is head coach Brandon Graham's first finalist since taking over the program in 2008. DeYoung says he expects to continue his athletic career in college next year. The aspiring biology student told the Rundown he is looking at wrestling and running cross country for Augustana College in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Stepping up a level, the Statesman wrestling team will have 3 ranked individuals competing at nationals on March 6th. WP has 4 qualifiers heading to the individual tournament in Topeka, Kansas. Penn also enters the 58th Wrestling Championships as the NAIA's 23rd ranked team. Sophomore 141-pounder Scotty Bonds will lead the way following his runner-up finish at last weekend's North qualifying group tournament. Fellow national qualifier freshman 125-pounder Angel Villa, senior 174-pounder Ishmael Remsen, and 197-pounder Kyle Soderblom will also be in action. Defending national champ Grandview will enter the national tournament as the #1 team. A William Penn University coach recently celebrated a unique coaching milestone. Last week, baseball head coach Mike Laird kicked off his 33rd season at the helm and picked up his 900th career victory. William Penn swept McPherson in the season opener, giving Coach Laird his number 900th and 901 victory. Laird's record stands at 901 wins, 455 losses, and 3 ties. Laird is the 12th winningest active skipper in the NAIA. He also owns the 5th best winning percentage among the top 25 winningest coaches. The skipper has led Penn to 9 NCAA and 6 NAIA postseason tournaments. A William Penn Hall of Fame inductee, Laird probably registers his best season in 2004. That year, Penn recorded a school record 48 wins and reached the NAIA World Series. The Rundown caught up with Laird and talked to him about his most recent accomplishment.
My initial reaction was our guys played pretty well for the first time out. I've been really lucky, really fortunate. We've had a lot of really good players here, and a lot of good guys, and a lot of people around us, and that's what makes a program is, the people that are in it, obviously, and I've been really lucky. I'm just having a lot of fun with them, and I really appreciate, being in this position where I can be around a lot of young men.
Laird says approximately 40 of his players have gone on and have had pro contracts throughout his tenure. As for this season, Laird says he likes his squad's chances in the MCC. He says the team is concentrating on having better at-bats and taking care of the little things in order to be successful. Penn has already had several ball games canceled this season due to weather conditions. The Statesmen are currently trying to reschedule games against Harris-Stowe State. If that doesn't pan out, Penn baseball will be back in action on March 8th against Aquinas. Another William Penn squad is looking to continue the momentum it has gained this season. The Statesman men's indoor track and field team stayed in the top 25 this week. Penn came in at number 21, dropping 3 spots in the rankings despite continuing to pile up national qualifiers. Senior Alex Edwards has already qualified for 4 events throughout this season. Edwards qualified for the 400, 600, and 800 and 1,000 meter runs, but he's not the only Statesman making strides. This past weekend, sophomore Cornelius McCassell qualified for the triple jump. Sophomore Derek Saden qualified for the weight throw, and junior CJ Watts qualified for the 400-meter dash. The women's track and field team has not had as much luck as the men. The women are ranked 93rd in the nation. William Penn Bowling will look to end its season on a high note when it travels to Davenport this week. Both the men and women will compete in the Midwest Collegiate Conference Championships. The men are coming off a 36th place finish at the Buck Hall District Hoosier Classic this past weekend, and the women finished in 28th place, led by the top 25 performance of Stephanie Adams. After the MCC Championships, both Statesman squads will be in action for team sectionals on March 14th. Good luck to all the athletes in the area, and from all of us at The Rundown, we appreciate you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time with this sports show.